there. This is part 2 of a screencast examining cyberbullying. It is in support of content from the National Centre for Computing Education under the Open Government Licence, and we looked in the previous screencast about types of cyberbullying. We're now going to examine how we cope if we do encounter cyberbullying. So these are previous examples of cyberbullying instances from the earlier part 1 screencast, and in terms of what to do. Okay, so first of all, we need to remember that every single online posting can be traced on phones, tablets, computers, if nothing else, via the ISP which that individual is using, like BT or Sky or Virgin Media. Some people confuse the ISPs with the phone provider. So, for example, some people think that if you don't access your broadband, but you're on, let's say, 4G via something like, say, O2, then you're fine. Well, it's not, because the O2's service is still an ISP. It's just not using your broadband router. So it is, of course, entirely possible to track what people do. We're talking about binary data, ones and zeros, flying back and forth from a device over a network. It can all be traced. Everything can be traced, even on 4G. And this is a good thing. If you're experiencing cyberbullying, it means that there's evidence and proof. Okay, number 3, talk to a trusted adult, usually a parent or a teacher. They will be able to deal with it appropriately. They'll know what to do. They'll know the steps to take, and not to inflame or escalate it, but they'll know how to deal with it. Do not suffer this alone. Do not suffer this alone. Similarly, number 4, do not respond to bullying messages, but equally do not delete them, as upsetting as they could be, because again, they could form some level of evidence if it had to be taken to the next level. So don't respond to them. It tends to make them worse if you respond in an upset way, but don't delete them either. Block. Every major phone or website or app has a facility for you to block content coming from a certain person. Make use of that. Block. If you can, make a note of the dates and times of when you received the particular messages. That really helps to build up a pattern of what happened and when. Number 7, do not pass on any cyberbullying content. And that could be if you're a participant within a group of people, one of whom is cyberbullying somebody else. If you are in the middle of the group of these people, you might not be the cyberbully yourself, but you're known to these other people and you're kind of in their group. Don't pass on any cyberbullying content, because this itself is cyberbullying. It makes you a cyberbully. So if somebody shares something unpleasant and intimidating or harassing about somebody else to a group that you're in, do not be the person who passes that on. It makes you the cyberbully, and it could be potentially very serious for you. Number 8, if you're the recipient of cyberbullying, you could change your user ID or your profile to a name that does not give any information away about you. You also have the option of some websites which people don't always think of, which is Childline, or Think You Know. This is the Childline website there, and this is the Think You Know website, which is specifically geared to younger people who are using the internet and keeping yourself safe. They're full of tips, they're full of advice. And I think number 10 is probably the most important one. Remember that this is not your fault, and that you do not have to face this alone. There's a lot of help available for this sort of thing. Okay, so we looked at, we reminded ourselves about some types of cyberbullying, and hopefully you've got some tips now on how to cope if we encounter cyberbullying. In future topics, we'll be looking at identifying who you're talking to online. Thank you.